Lake State Forest Campground and Recreation Area is located about 10 miles south of Awe Train and not too far from Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. It's just about a 20-minute drive to get to Pictured Rocks. As you go down the dirt road, you first see the State Forest Campground sign that has been updated, and I'm actually going to be staying the night here, so I have to insert my registration for my campsite, and then I'm going to head on into the campground. Before I head to the campground, I'm going to walk down and take a look at the day use area. I'm always curious what the day use areas look like and what they have to offer, so I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to head down to the water and see what we have here to explore. There is a decent-sized parking space with a boat launch. I'm going to walk up and see if this is just a gravel boat launch or if it's actually cement. And it looks like it's a nice cement boat launch. You back down into a nice sandy area here to get out to the water. Right here in this location, it looks more like the boat launch goes out into a river, but this is just the part of the lake that the boat launch is located on. If you go to the left, it's going to take you right out into the lake. I did not do any fishing here, but this lake looks like it would be a great lake for some northern pike and bass fishing based off all the vegetation and the water depth that I can see so far out in this open area. Here we have the picnic area that looks like it's well maintained, nice and mowed, and just like the rest of the campground, the picnic area has the lake wrapping right around it, and it provides easy access to get out here whether you want to swim or just stand along the shore and fish. I'll take a quick walk through the campground and show some of the sights here before I launch the drone. This campground has 26 campsites, and they do cost $20 a night. Most of the campsites are located right on the water, and there are a couple campsites, like site number 7 here, that you aren't going to be able to back a trailer or camper into because they have a little bit of a hill that goes up to the campsite, so they're designed more for tent campers that are just going to pitch a tent up in the area and don't need to have their vehicle back right into the campsite. Other sites, like this one, are definitely suitable for large pop-up campers and medium-sized travel trailers. Some of them, like this one right here, you could even fit a large travel trailer into, but those sites are definitely limited in this campground. There are a couple campsites here that you have to hike back to. 2 of these sites are not being used, so I'll get right up to them. One of them was in use, and I didn't want to be invasive, so I stayed back a bit. The hike back to these sites is fairly short. You won't have any problem as long as you can carry your gear less than a quarter of a mile. This definitely gets you a little bit more remote feeling and away from the typical campground noise. However, I will say this campground is pretty quiet, and I'm definitely glad that I chose to stay here. All of the campsites, including the backcountry ones, have a picnic table and a fire ring. Beyond that, there is hand pump water in this campground and a couple vault toilets, as well as a couple garbage cans for camper use only. You can see here the trail that I'm walking down isn't anything that's super wide, so you're not going to be able to pull a small wagon or anything to get your gear here. You won't be able to arrive on a quad. You definitely have to hike in and get back to this area. These sites are also on water. However, getting down the hill to the water is going to be a little bit more of a trick than what you would have at the normal campsites within the campground. We are at the last campsite that is the backcountry site, and like I said, I'm not going to approach this campsite. I'm going to walk back to the actual campground here and film the last couple of sites that are in the loop. You can see this one, again, super deep. You could fit a very large rig back in these last couple of sites. It's almost as if the higher the number of the campsite, the larger the campsite space is. Campsite number 17 here is a nice deep site, but it's pretty narrow, so if your rig is wide or if you have any part of it that expands, you might have an issue with that. And now I'm going to get the drone up in the air and we're going to fly over the lake some. It's actually a really beautiful lake out here to fly over on a Nice calm day. I would love to bring a kayak up here and kayak around this and see what the lake has to offer out here. Some of those islands look like they would be great to pull up to and just picnic on or fish off of. So I'm gonna just fly the drone around and play some music and leave it at that.